Issues in Education is a national thought leadership platform. Listen as we talk to Dr. Nicholas Santilli, lead facilitator of SCUP at the 2018 conference. Dr. Santilli will discuss integrating your academic mission with your resources and then assessing the effectiveness of implementing your planning initiatives. Organic planning at every level of your institution. Building trust through transparency and engagement. And a sustainable plan is about the institution, not the leader.
We're here in Nashville at the 2018 National Conference of SCUP, and I'm proud to have with me Nick Santilli, who is the lead facilitator for the SCUP Planning Institute, and formerly the professor emeritus of psychology for John Carroll University.
So thank you.
So thanks for being with me.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a great conference. Covers 3 or 4 days, and not having been in Nashville before, the last one was in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Where's the next one?
The next conference in Seattle.
Oh, wow.
So we'll be out in the Great Northwest. Really looking, very, very excited for the opportunity to have folks join us in Seattle.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, it's just amazing how many universities are here at this conference. And you're the lead facilitator of what's called integrated planning. And you might start off with sharing with everybody, what can that do for them?
Sure. Really the idea of integrated planning is how institutions find their way to integrate their academic mission with their resources and then assess the effectiveness of implementing those planning initiatives that meet the mission for that institution. That's integrated planning.
Okay.
And it's very, very important for institutions as they begin to develop their plans, starting with their strategic plan, moving to their operational plan, that they align their initiatives with resources and assess the effectiveness of those initiatives.
So what really determines successful planning?
I think it's a number of things. It's collaboration across the institution must be key. Always keeping the mission in mind as well. Because let's face it, universities, our main goal is to deliver on our mission, to educate our students and engage our communities and be responsible citizens. So if we start with our mission and then think about ways that we can develop strategies, fund those strategies, assess the effectiveness of those strategies, then we know we're meeting our mission and serving the public in the ways that we decide we want to serve them.
It's interesting, and many of the people that I work at the university level, they're all engaged in planning at some point in their career, sometimes with little preparation.
Right.
And when they take on a new role as provost or dean of a department, it can be pretty challenging on a large university with all kinds of issues that have to get addressed on an integrated basis. So what are the benefits of someone who's taken on a new position? How should they develop their skill sets in planning, and should they contact you?
Oh, absolutely. You've described my career. My first real substantial planning activity was when I was a department chair, and we were building a new science facility, and my department was going to be part of that facility. So we went through an integrated planning process, actually, with one of the individuals who is a really lifelong SCUPper, and that's Art Lidsky. Art came and he was one of the consultants for our institution. But what it became really apparent to me is that we had very little capacity on campus for developing a strategic plan that linked the academic departments and the facility and a vision for a 15 to 20 year horizon for how that facility would really accelerate undergraduate science on our campus. So what I found is that I liked the work. It was a great experience, and having the opportunity to work with Art and other individuals in the planning process got me interested in planning. My first job in administration was the director of planning and assessment, and my then president said, "You need to learn about SCUP." So I found my way to SCUP and enrolled in the Planning Institute, which are a series of 3 workshops designed to build capacity in individuals who have planning responsibilities on how to do integrated planning on their campuses. So that set me off in my career as a department chair, then a director and associate provost for planning and effectiveness, and for my last year as an interim provost, actually, and leading a strategic planning effort at the campus at John Carroll University. So really what I found most beneficial was going through the Planning Institute provided me with a knowledge of planning for higher education and the skills to do it confidently. And I think that that's the best part of the SCUP Planning Institute really is it builds capacity for individuals who have responsibilities for planning at all levels, how to get it done, how to work with others to advance the mission of the institution. So if you have some concerns about and on your campus challenges, we all have them, that all of these challenges are addressed with good, strong planning efforts. And one of the things that I found very successful, and I've been a facilitator for the Planning Institute for a decade. People coming to the Institute, learning some things to be able to take back to their campus to help advance the work of their campus.
Well, I can tell you have a real passion for planning.
Yes.
And so many people take on new roles and they don't come prepared with that planning component. And many think that they're good planners, but without the structure, the skill sets to do planning, it's a big task.
It's a huge task, and it really is one that affects the institution at every level. And it's really important to understand that planning needs to be part of the organic nature of the institution. You're looking at a future horizon, 3-year, 5-year, 10-year, depending upon the plan. And to be able to be successful at it, you need to understand how it works and how it can work on a campus. Collaboration is key. Understanding and working within an area, but also across areas, and also how do you lead an effort, as I often like to say, up, down, and sideways on a campus. So you need to think about horizontal and vertical interactions on a campus to be able to get the work done. Because no one area can do it alone. And the going alone is no longer feasible. You need to work in a collaborative environment. You need to engage governance structures that include faculty, staff, and students, and other constituents, and that's what integrated planning really leads to. And that's what we focus on our Integrated Planning Institute.
I don't know if you've come across this in your professional career, but I come across presidents and provosts who are pretty much kind of top-down driven, and the idea of collaboration is scary for them. It's like they're going to lose control. So then everyone sits in the room through a whole series of planning sessions and are listeners, not participants, not contributors. And how do you get somebody out of that mindset?
It's hard, and I think a good bit of it is developing the kind of trust on a campus so that individuals reach a level of interaction of what I like to call constructive tension. When I do the Planning Institute, this is something that I mention because planning can be really create a lot of anxiety on campus because some individuals wonder whether or not they will be in that plan. Am I planning myself out of a position? Do I have a future? And to the extent that you're able to engage your stakeholders so that everybody can see themselves in that plan, the engagement that you start with trust, building trust. You do it through engagement. And the thing that I often advocate too is we talk a lot about transparency these days, about transparency in process and product. If you're engaged, you have a transparent process. So for me, engagement and transparency go hand in hand. So trust, engagement, transparency in a shared trust environment, one of collaboration, you have input. But you also need to recognize that there are individuals who have to make decisions. So giving people the opportunity for input, recognizing that some of their ideas will be taken, some may not, some may be massaged and look differently. But the key is everyone has a stake and stakeholder in the process. And then you can at least say, I had my opportunity, they listened, and we created a plan that the community feels confident, because ultimately the plan's about the institution, not about a particular leader. So to the extent that you can institutionalize your plans, they become transition-proof. So because it's a commitment that the institution makes, not just an individual or a small group of people on a campus. And that's really what contributes to sustainability for institutions.
Boy, to have success breeds success. It just continues on.
Thank you for listening. Please visit our Knowledge Library for access to other national leaders.